Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on Lockdown Friday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's continue our sporting theme in particular and speak about footy in particular. And of course, we've got a very special guest on the show. Of course, she used to play out at the Inner West Magpies up in Sydney, but now she's down to of course, beautiful city of Melbourne. In Melbourne, of course, she plays also for the Richmond VFLW team. And of course, unfortunately, their season didn't even get underway this year because of the lockdowns. Of course, to tell us all about it, of course, her name is Bec Miller. She joins us right now. Thanks, Bec, for joining us.
Great to be here, Will. Looking forward to it.
No worries. Well, I guess I wish, as I said in the intro, I wish I could be talking a bit about the season, but obviously that hasn't happened. I guess what have you been doing in lockdown to sort of keep yourself motivated to hopefully get back into it again?
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'd love to be playing football. I'm very jealous of all the girls back at Inner West Magpies and the whole of AFL Sydney who are going to their last round this weekend and looking at finals after that. So I'm very jealous, but good luck to them. At least someone's playing footy this year. So, but yeah, in terms of, I guess, staying sane and staying fit, I was lucky enough to be part of the AFLW team for Richmond the last season, so 2020. And that obviously got cut short, just called off the competition. So that was back in March. I had about a month off, just letting the body rest and recover, as well as the mind, which was, pretty important and much needed after an intense sort of, I guess, year from VFLW and AFLW. And then sort of, I guess, pre-season for 2021 started in May. We've been sort of all working hard since then, and we had our individual running programs for the first lockdown, and then we started to get back to small group work when we could after those restrictions eased, and then it's been back to individual workouts and running programs once again for lockdown 2.0. So I guess a typical week for me in the last 6 months sort of involves about 3 running sessions, 3 strength sessions, and at the moment I'm trying to sort of squeeze in a couple of kicking sessions and a boxing circuit as well. So that keeps me nice and busy, which is good. So between work and training, time is ticking by quite nicely, but yeah, definitely get to play some sort of football sooner rather than later.
Now, you mentioned you're part of the AFLW as well with the Tigers. I guess how thrilled was that to don the black and yellow?
Yeah, that was an incredible honour and privilege, and something I'll be very, very proud of. And I don't think it's fully sunk in yet, and I don't think it will for a few years. But to be part of history like that with such a famous club through Richmond is, pretty special. But the first round, that game against Carlton Icon Park was just mind-blowing. And I remember, obviously, you don't get to play in the black jersey with the yellow stripe unless it's for competition points. So VFLW, we always play in the yellow jersey with the black stripe. So when I finally got to don the black jersey with the yellow stripe, I remember it sitting there in the change rooms, and I sort of picked it up, and Katie Brennan was right next to me. I went like, how cool is this? Like finally playing this iconic jersey. Obviously it wasn't the result we wanted, but it was just, surreal experience and something I'll never forget. So lots of lessons were learnt throughout season 2020. Obviously we didn't get a win out of 6 games, but whilst the win and loss column says it was a bit of a failure as a season, there are lots of successes to come out of it. So pre-season started since May this year, so hopefully 2021 we can turn it around.
Now, you mentioned about your former club. Of course, I have to, Bec and Aaron, mid this week. Obviously, they're heading towards critical final round before, obviously, hopefully be able to get the week off next week. I guess, have you been keeping track with your former team? And I believe from what they were telling me, I think it was this might be the first finals appearance for the team in quite a while.
Yeah, correct. So I did listen to that interview, and Aaron and Priv spoke very, very well. And look, I played for them last in 2018 under the Western Wolves, and I did a pre-season with them when their name changed from Western Wolves to Inner West Magpies. And I've always kept an eye on their results, and especially during this season, looking at the scores and looking at, the best ons and whatever. That brings me a lot of joy each week to see them going so well. Back in 2018, I think we only won 4 games. So it was about a period of 3 or 4 years where we struggled a little bit on field, but off field, they're a great bunch of women, all of them. So it's great to finally see them get some success on the field, which they deserve. And I didn't play with Priv, unfortunately, but she's a quality player and someone I would love to play with one day. But yeah, I think she's brought a lot to the team, as well as a couple other new women. So the club's worked really hard the last 2 or 3 years in recruitment, and it's finally paying off. And I know Canada does a lot of work behind the scenes, the head coach as well as Specker. So yeah, it's just great to see the results on the board coming through for them. And I hope they get one up on Southern Power this weekend, and can go on to bigger and better things for the finals.
So you mentioned about the transition from the Wolves to the Magpies. Tell us a bit about that, and how strange was it to go from the Wolves to the Magpies, even though I'm assuming it was a very similar club in regards to the structure?
Yeah, essentially. So, it was sort of when the name changed from Western Wolves to Inner West Magpies, it was a bit of a symbol and identity change, I guess, for the club. Like the Western Wolves was the women's side of the club, so they sacrificed a lot to let go of the name from Western Wolves to Inner West Magpies, because they were a foundation club for the Sydney Women's back in 2000. I think the competition first started, the Prems comp. So that was a huge sacrifice the women made for the club in changing the name. And then I think the men's club was Western Suburbs. And we sort of felt as a committee and as a club at that time, a lot of people, when they heard Western Suburbs, thought of a different sort of geographical location to where we were. So we wanted to sort of change the name and put ourselves on the map, so to speak. So there was a bit of backlash, definitely. But I think, obviously I'm not there at the moment, but I think it's sort of all worked out relatively well, and the committee is still working hard, and there's been some great people that have come on board and helped with things on and off the field. It was a really big statement, coming together for the men's and women's club, and it's been great to see their success so far.
Transition, and of course, especially footy there. Now, I want to ask you this question. I guess, do you think that footy in Sydney, especially in the women's football, do you think it's starting to grow from when you first started to where it is now?
Yeah, I would definitely say yes. I know I haven't played in Sydney for a couple of seasons, but I do remember the standard that I was playing back in 2018, and some of the girls I was playing with then aren't sort of playing anymore, just because the standard has gone up and the physicality and the fitness levels that are demanded now in that competition have risen. So I think, quality players like Priv playing the competition only benefits Inner West Magpies and the competition as a whole. So I think Sydney's AFL Sydney is only going from strength to strength. And I know down in Melbourne, some people may look down on that competition, but there's a lot of strengths within that competition, and there's some quality players playing in and around AFL Sydney. So
the rest of the year, and obviously hopefully an AFLW season again, 2021, if the season goes ahead, depending on where our situation is down here at the moment. But I guess what are you looking forward to next season?
First of all, I'm really looking forward to meeting the newbies that we got in the recent sign and trade period. We got Sarah Dargan, Sarah Darcy, Sarah Hosking, and Harriet Cordner. I don't know how Harriet got recruited. Her name's not Sarah, so I don't know how she got through the books, I guess. But no, obviously we've met the 4 newbies on a few team Zooms and whatnot. But WhatsApp's quite popular in our team as well. So. But to meet these women face to face and really get to know them and build that connection is something I'm really looking forward to down the track. And then just to get back with the whole team and just train together and have fun and have a laugh is something, I think we're all really, really looking forward to when that day comes. And I don't think we'll ever take that for granted ever again.
Now, you mentioned about the Zoom meetings. How's that been? And how's everyone feeling about doing things online at the moment?
Yeah, look, I think the club is definitely conscious of, Zoom overkill. So that there's set Zoom meetings, and then you can do some more if you want, with vision and just general catch-ups and whatever. But yeah, everyone's pretty confident with the good old Zoom now, like the whole world is. So, yeah, it's really good. Sometimes you have, I guess we have stretching Zoom sometimes, like on a Monday each week, and then there's visions as well. We do team strength Zoom sessions, you name it. We've probably done it on Zoom. So, yeah, as I said, we really enjoy catching up on those Zooms and having a laugh together. But to do it face to face is something we're all yearning for.
And let's talk a bit about your footy journey. Where did it all start, and why did you choose it?
I guess you could go all the way back to good old under 12s. I was living up at the far north coast of New South Wales at that age, and I played for a team called Plateau Power. I don't believe they exist anymore, but I played for them with one season, the under 12s, undefeated the whole season, got to the granny and lost it. So that's one of the first memories of footy I have. I was the only girl on that team, and but I absolutely loved it and had a ball. Then obviously back at that time, being 12, I couldn't go on and play footy with the boys, and there was no girls' league around then. So footy sort of stopped for me for about 5 or 6 years, and the only footy I got was every year, once a year, I would do the girls' high school gala day. And this was when I was in Wagga Wagga. I grew up sort of primary school up the far north coast, but in high school I moved to Wagga with the fam. So the high school gala days kept me going for 6 years, and then back in 2018 I was watching a Giants versus Carlton game, I think, at Drummoyne Oval, an AFLW game, and at that time I was a few years out of school, working office jobs, so I was really unfit, and obviously moving to Sydney, didn't know many people, so I thought, sport's great for being fit, for getting fit and meeting new people. And watching the AFLW game, I just sort of saw the women on the field. They look really strong and fit and fast, and I was like, that's what I want to look like. I can do that. So I just sort of, long story short, found the closest club to me, which was Western Wolves, and I think I turned up maybe a week or two before the actual season started in 2018, and I just absolutely loved it. Whilst we didn't have heaps of success on the field, that club taught me the sort of, I guess, the first values of football, and that's just to love the game and love who you're playing with. They were a great group of women, and I loved spending time with them off the field, and loved going to battle, I guess, each week with them on the field. So yeah, and then from Western Wolves, early 2019, I came down to Melbourne for a trial. Now it's just a Wednesday night, Friday night session at Punt Road Oval, and I was just like a kid in a candy store, walking into Punt Road Oval, the gym, like the grass was just like you could eat your dinner off it. It was that nice, and I was like, wow, bit different from Pick and Oval. But look, I did try my best in that trial. Didn't know what was going to happen. Went back to Sydney, had a nervous wait, just waiting for a phone call or an email from Richmond. And then I got an email from the recruiter saying, yeah, would love to offer you a spot on our VFLW list. They were very upfront, Richmond. They said, we don't help you in any way to move down here, like no financial support, nothing. It was all off my own bat, but I knew, Melbourne is the mecca of footy, and to get to where I wanted to, and to be the best footballer I could be was to come down here. I knew if I didn't take it, I'd always regret it. So at that stage, I knew it was only VFLW. There was no chats of AFLW whatsoever. But basically, I think I got that email maybe mid-Feb, and by about mid-March, I was down here settling into Melbourne life. And through that VFLW season, just had such an amazing time, and just really loved my football and turning up to training and the games each week, because there was another great bunch of women down here. And about July, I think, or so, There was sort of some conversations between myself and the club exec about AFLW. They said, we love what you're bringing, just keep what you're doing, keep your head down and keep doing what you're doing my craft and enjoying my footy. And a little bit later, they sort of offered me a spot on the inaugural list. And yeah, I guess the rest is history. So yeah, I'm always thankful to Tommy Hunter and Kate Sheen, who gave me the chance to live out an AFLW dream. So it's only just beginning, hopefully. Lots of hard work to go, but I do know without the Western Wolves and the Inner West Magpies, I wouldn't be here today. So, yeah, my success is as much their success.
Now, you mentioned obviously when you returned back to footy in 2018, especially in Sydney, did you ever thought at all that, you'd go from playing, I guess, local footy in Sydney to all of a sudden play AFLW for the best club in the land here in Melbourne?
Yeah, you're not wrong. It is the best club in the land. No, it's such a surreal feeling. Like, it's just absolutely crazy. And I'm sort of known around the club at Richmond for a saying, it's just living the dream. Like, I'm absolutely living the dream. I get a train at Richmond and play at Richmond during non-COVID times. But, to be around this club and the people within this club is something really, really special and definitely not lost on me. I feel very fortunate. And, yeah, to answer your question, you have those dreams, you have those goals to play at the elite level. But, sometimes when they come true, you still just can't believe it. You have to pinch yourself. So, it's dream come true. I'm living the dream. But yeah, I think there's always that part of you that goes, can you actually do it? So to do it is pretty special.
Now, what would be some highlights about your footy journey so far?
I think one of my first highlights would be actually with Western Wolves. I remember one of the best games we played as a team was against UTS Shamrocks at Trumper. And it was just an absolute field day. We were just on fire. Like, I think it was obviously one of our only 4 wins of the season, but geez, it was a good win. Everyone just clicked. There was some great goals, and the sun was out. It was just a great day of footy. That's a really good memory, really special. I'd say the trial, coming down to Richmond for the trial, is also another good memory, and something I'll never forget. We also, within the VFLW season last year, we went up to Darwin to play NT Thunder, and that game was probably the best win I've ever been a part of. We had 2 women in the game go down with ACL injuries, unfortunately, and Thunder were pressing hard in that last quarter, and it was 33 degrees, the sun was out, like it was backs up against a wall kind of stuff, but somehow we snuck home, and it was just an unbelievable feeling walking off that ground, absolutely spent, but we got the win, got the points, and it was quite special that night. We sort of went out and had a bit of a night out in the town, which was pretty cool. That's what footy's all about, get the win and then go celebrate it. So that was a special memory. And I think just the night it was also announced that I was signed to the AFLW team was a great night. I was one of 4 announced that night within the 4 walls. That was really special to celebrate the signing along Grace Campbell, Achek McCourt-Schutt, and Gab Seymour. All of us 4 were announced the same night. So it was a really great vibe. What else? I think having all my family and friends at round 1, some of my friends from Western Wolves / Inner West Magpies were there. So that was really cool for them to travel down to Melbourne to Icon Park and watch me run out. There's been just so many memories along the way. So it's only been 2 or 3 years, but geez, there's been some good times and some bad times, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Now, what position do you play on the field? If you had a preferred position where you love to convince your coaches to put you, where would that be?
Look, actually, one of the coaches asked me a couple of weeks ago, where do I want to play in 2021? And I just said, anywhere I can get a jersey. Anywhere on the field. Like, I'm just happy to go wherever the team wants me. I played ruck for Western Wolves and really enjoyed that because you're always around the action and the ball's just there. You don't have to go get it. I really enjoy that aspect. And then for Richmond, I've sort of transitioned into defence and that's also enjoyable, but being quite hard to learn as well, you know, the 1v1 sort of craft and when to play front shoulder, when to play back shoulder. But I've also played a little bit of wing too, and I really love the freedom that position gives you. You know, you've got so much space, so much time, and yeah, that's a bit of a fun position. I haven't played up forward yet, but we've got quite a good forward line, so I'll leave that job to them. But yeah, I don't really have an ideal position, I don't think. I just, as I said to my coach a few weeks ago, anywhere on the field, I'll take it. Anywhere with a yellow and black jumper, I'm happy to be there.
What does the sport of footy mean to you, and especially playing for the Richmond VFLW, and obviously used to play at Inner West?
Yeah, as I sort of mentioned earlier, playing at Inner West in 2018, they taught me the values of football, and that's, you know, work hard on the field, work hard at training, but have lots of fun as well. And it's all about sort of mateship and camaraderie, and yeah, that's sort of like some of the values I really enjoy about football. And I just think it's just such a great sport. Like you work hard on the field, and then you work hard off it, and you just enjoy everyone's company throughout the journey, because that's what football is. It's just a journey. It's not an end destination, but it teaches you a lot, which you can sort of incorporate into, I guess, work life and other aspects of your life. But yeah, it's just the values footy brings and teaches you is something really important and yeah, beneficial as well.
Now, what would be your advice to our listeners out there, especially here in Melbourne, that should get involved in footy once we all get our lockdown?
Well, you can always do footy inside lockdown, get a ball in your hands, like, you know, do some handball drills, do some kicking to yourself drills. There's always some sort of footy you can do. But yes, once we do get our lockdown, I'd say go and try it, first of all. But, you know, I think if you have some footy goals, it sort of comes down to two pieces of advice, I guess. It's work hard. You know, it's nothing you haven't heard before, but, you know, you've got to work incredibly hard and sacrifice yourself and dedicate yourself to whatever goals you want to achieve in football. But then it all comes back to having fun. Like if you're working hard and not having fun, it's definitely not worth it. So at the end of the day, make sure you're having some fun as well, and smiles on your dial, and yeah, I guess just go back to those values and why you like football. And yeah, I guess those would be my two bits of advice: work hard and have fun.
Who's the comedian in the team?
I guess for Inner West / Western Wolves, it would be Mickey Ekman. She has some great one-liners and will always make you laugh, but she'll also stitch you up as well. Then I guess for Richmond, Laurentis Herrera is quite funny, and Christina Bernardi. They bounce off each other quite well. Court Wakefield's also, she's good with the one-liners. Who else? I'm definitely not the funny one. People laugh at me, not with me. Alice Edmonds is quite funny too. She's
yes,
yeah, she doesn't think before she says some things sometimes, and it's great. I love the unfiltered approach. So yeah.
Now let's talk a bit about any best singers or dancers in the team.
Again, definitely not me. Yeah, I can luckily I can play football because I can't sing or dance. Ketchy, Achek McCaw-Chot, she's an unbelievable dancer. Yeah, she has got rhythm. Who else? Cody Jarks from Richmond. She likes to have a bit of a boogie pre-game.
Yes.
Singers, I don't know. I haven't really heard too many people sing at the moment. So, but in terms of Inner West, I think everyone just loves a good sing and dance, you know, especially end of season. Everyone got on that dance floor.
Now, of course, do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
Not really. I just try and steer clear of that. Like I just try and stay relaxed. You could probably say I like a nap. I do. I'm a big napper, but it's not a must-have. It's probably just a nice-to-have. Especially, I'd say this is more based around AFLW because a lot of the games are in sort of late afternoon, night. So, you know, I try and sort of have 2 meals before the game and a nap. That's what I aim for. But as I said, they're sort of nice-to-haves rather than must-haves. But yeah, I don't have any, like, you know, sock has to go on, like a left sock has to go on first, or the mouth guard has to be carried in this pocket. I got no sort of weird or wacky superstitions like that.
Now, two final ones. Firstly, during this lockdown, have you tried anything new? And is there a hidden talent that you didn't think you had?
Yeah, making pasta. Been making pasta. I've made gnocchi. I've made slow cooked lamb shanks. But I think the pasta is definitely something I've tried in lockdown, and I can now proudly say I'm an owner of a pasta making machine, which I never thought I would say. But yeah, I've done that 3 or 4 times, which is good. Surprisingly easy to make your own pasta. And then in terms of a hidden talent, I always just say I can reach the top shelf because I'm so tall. But yeah, no hidden talents really. I don't think I'm an open book. Will. Yeah, that's about it, I think.
Now we'll finish off with this one last one. I know footy clubs have some amazing and strange nicknames. Any footy club. Now I'm going to ask you this question in relation to that. Who has the best nickname at Richmond and also at Inner West / Western?
At Inner West, I got Becky with the good legs. That was quite funny. Made by Mickey Ekman. She created that. She's a great nickname generator. She just comes out with them like that. Noodles is a great nickname back at Inner West / Western Wool. She has a tattoo in a Chinese writing or some sort of symbol. It's just not English. I know that. And I think one night some girl was like, "Oh, what does it say?" And then another one just took the mickey and said, "It says noodles." And then it's just stuck with that, which is quite funny. I really liked, she plays for Carlton, but in VFLW we had Grace Egan on our list in Richmond, and we called her Greg. So Grace Egan, the first 2 letters of the first name and the first 2 letters of the last name made Greg. There were a couple of Graces, so to ease confusion, we just called her Greg. I did like that one. Too bad. I got Williams for a little bit in the VFLW because the commentators for live streams called me Rebecca Williams instead of Rebecca Miller. So, which was quite bit of a lull. I thought they did it 2 weeks in a row. I'm like, come on, guys. But yeah, there's no. Just trying to think of the locker room. Too many strange nicknames. But yeah, I like Greg from Richmond and Noodles from Inner West.
Sorry, just posed me. I wasn't going to ask this question until you mentioned it. Just now, you mentioned about that, obviously, when the commentators, of course, got your name wrong, especially the last name wrong. Did you ever, got them to, did you ever get them to apologise and, get them to correct it next time?
No, because I went to a lunch, like a women's lunch or women's industry in sport or something lunch halfway through last year, representing Richmond, and on the table it was like a name card, and that also said Rebecca Williams. So I think maybe it's a stitch up within the club somehow. So I don't know what's happened or who's put Rebecca Williams somewhere, but it's in the club, and I don't know if it's out of the club, but I hope it is.
Well, there you go. Well, let's hope they don't get that confusion again going into any more or even Channel 7 games in the future. So, but Bec, thank you so much for joining us. It's awesome having you on the show. Hopefully we'll get to catch up with you in person, hopefully once we get our lockdown, and obviously best of luck going into the AFLW season in 2021. And let's hope for the Mighty Tigers that you can do something very similar to what the boys are doing right now, last season or even now, and hopefully get into the top 4 and make the finals.
That would be nice. I'll start with just 1 win to begin with, but yeah, finals and top 4 would be really nice as well, Will. So, but thank you very much for your time, and thanks for the opportunity to speak as well.
No worries, and that's Bec Miller there, joins us from the Richmond VFLW and AFLW, as well as the former Inner West Magpies player there. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on a Lockdown Friday.